Hello, welcome back. It's Luke Carthy, of course, here. I've been away last month. I apologise. Mental health priorities, and also just enjoying the sun, to be honest, and the easing of lockdown. Why the hell not? But I am back today to talk about site search and how incredibly powerful it can be in the world of e-commerce to really turn up the volume on your conversion, your user experience, your sales, just everything. It's good. So, of course, I'm wearing a Fact Finder hoodie today. These guys have kindly sponsored this episode, which is incredible, and it allows me to show you some really, really cool information that have led me a really cool, insightful analytics account. So I can show you some really cool things that I'd love to do, which I can't really do on live customer data because GDPR and client confidentiality is a real thing. But first, can I just talk about this hoodie for a minute? Because I have worn this a handful of times out and about, and the amount of people who give me double takes thinking I'm some kind of walking Google is incredible. So I guess they just see Fact Finder and think I'm some kind of walking concierge, and it's brilliant. I'm not, but I like the double take when people kind of go like this. It's awesome. So yes, Fact Finder are here. I'm going to be using well, they're not here. I'm here, but I'm going to be using Fact Finder to talk you through how you can really use your search engine analytics to really improve your conversion, your optimization, your performance, and help customers find the products that they want to buy from you. That's simple. All right, let's get into it. I'll see you at my computer desk. So here we are, back at my desk, looking at some really cool Fact Finder data. So really what we're going to look at is a 7-day period here, and start with the kind of blue bar, which has your key KPIs and, if you like, and key indicators for the last 7 days. So we can see here we've just had over 1 million searches in a week, which is pretty nice. 6 to 9 millisecond search time, which is just how long it takes Fact Finder to respond and give the juicy data that people are looking for. £7 million in sales this week. Nice. And £5 million of which were from Fact Finder, which is pretty impressive if I do say so myself, which equates to £7 in sales per search, which is pretty damn healthy. So I guess they're kind of like your health indicators, if you like, just to kind of give you a really top level perspective. But the really interesting and good stuff starts when we climb further down this report and jump into the sort of things that I look at, the things that I pay attention to, and where I find data to optimize and to make better and to refine, and of course find those conversion and sales opportunities. So really, let's get started with this one. Top 10 searches for the last 7 days. Nice and simple one really, which is, as it says on the tin, it literally is the top 10 searches for the last week. So we can see here we've got single word queries, and we'll come on to single word queries in a moment as to why they're so rife for opportunity, but often quite poor for conversion typically. But we can see here women, which is an interesting one. So for context as well, what I should add is that this particular client basically is Go Outdoors for, well, it's not Go Outdoors, it's a different brand, but it's the same sort of stuff that Go Outdoors do. So, weatherproof jackets, tents, all the sort of mad stuff that you like to buy if you're the kind of person who wants to camp in the countryside, which isn't me. But if you want to do that, you're one of those kind of people, then this is what these guys do. So women, jacket, shirt, walking, hiking, and map and so on, cycling. But what's really interesting is women is the single biggest query and has been the previous week as well. So we'll take a look into that in a little while. Sales from searches, so just a very quick indicator as to where their sales come from. And of course, at any point in this data, if you are a Fact Finder user, you can click on any of these graphs and dig into more data. We're not going to do that in this because I don't want you guys to fall asleep, and I don't want this thing to be an hour long. But we've got plenty to get through in the time that we've got together. And again, even simpler, just the total number of searches over that week period for each day of the week. And there's no weirdness here, I guess if you had any peaks and troughs, could it be a Black Friday thing? Could it be a technical issue? Could it be site launch day? Whatever. But if there's things that are irregular here, it's a good place to take a look. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit more magnified, and we look at a little bit more of the raw data. So anything you see in this browny orange, I'm going to call it brown, I think it's brown, is the previous week or the previous date comparison. And of course, blue is the week that you're looking at. So top 10 trending, what we can see for sure is all of these kind of, on the surface, these ambiguous alphanumeric queries, particularly this one, which is a heck of a lot stronger this week than it has been last week. So we've got 273 searches this week versus 38 the previous week. So a pretty strong increase. Now, these ambiguous kind of what the heck might they be queries are often some of the most highly converting queries in the world of e-commerce, as crazy as it sounds. Why do I hear you ask? Well, it's because a lot of the time these queries can be SKUs, they can be part numbers, they can be some sort of unique identifier for particular products. And I see this time and time again in specialist industries, in the world of business to business, where people order, rather than searching for things that they might like, they're searching for things that they need, so like parts, especially in the world of tools and that kind of thing. So, if you've got something like this happening where a particular part number, let's say, is really popular this week compared to last week, is it a new product? Is it recently been brought back into stock? But the point here is there's a huge opportunity here to go and take a look at that query and make sure it's finding the product/products that the users will be expecting to find. It's a real opportunity here. And you can see that's the case with some of these other queries here as well. And to the contrary, we of course have the flop 10. I love that name, flop 10. We have the flop 10 searches for the last 7 days as well, which is exactly the same, but in reverse. So the queries that were doing better last week and aren't doing so great this week. So flop 10, again, part numbers, and this could be due to stock, lack of demand, seasonality, that kind of stuff. And actually on the topic of seasonality, so, we can find that with some clients, there can be a lot of peaks and troughs and trending emerges or trending stuff. I'm trying to be like cool and clever, and I can't think of the right word. Trending stuff that you find typically in the world of things like greetings cards, where you've got Father's Day coming, or Christmas, or birthday presents, or even like in the world of flowers, where certain flowers come in season, or you've got a mad rush of geezers at the last minute who are buying their partner's flowers for Valentine's Day. If you're one of them, which of course I'm not, where am I going with this? I guess the point I'm trying to say to you is this gives you, these top 10 trending and flop graphs will give you grassroots indications as to where those queries are. And of course, if things are really, ramping up, you can really make sure that those queries are being properly optimized. You can speak with your merchandising teams, your buying teams, your sales teams, and make sure that one, that particular query has been optimized as best as possible for the peak that might be coming, and two, you've got stock in and things are where they're supposed to be. Now, this is a really interesting graph, to be honest. I love this graph because this is a way of looking at the quality of the results in a way. So let me try and explain it, which is always a difficult part. So here we have the number of queries, and then of course we have the number of pages. Now, what this means is how many queries, so basically, let me walk you through it in a way that I can actually start to make sense of this in my head. So there is just over 1 million queries here where the vast majority of people found what they were looking for on the first page. And you can of course see that there's 197,000 queries where they had to go to the second page, where people had to go to the second page, and 36,000 searches to the 36,000 pages that went to page 3 and beyond. And you can see it gets lesser and lesser as the pages increase. So what this kind of gives you an idea of is really, perfection should be that everyone finds what they're looking for on the first page. Because of course that makes sure that your results are relevant, that people haven't got to go digging too deep to go and find what they need. There's a lot of benefit, and of course conversion is going to be higher if customers can find what they want as quickly as they want, whether it's Google, whether it's your site search, that same rule applies. So if you have lots of queries where people are going to sort of page 3 and beyond, take a look at those, because there might be something you can do to optimize that query, optimize that experience. And maybe the best experience isn't search results at all. It could be a redirect, it could be a landing page. But yeah, that's something that I really like to take a look at. And this is exactly the same, but instead of people navigating through, this is people actually clicking through on those products. So, quick example, 4,000 search queries, just shy of 5,000 search queries got clicks on page 3. So one is for search itself and people navigating through pages, and this one is clicking individual products. But these are really good indicators to find out how good your search results are at a bird's eye perspective, right? Now, this one is honestly, it's a really simple graph when I'm using it, but when I try and explain it, it's really difficult, but it's also really, really quite important. So this is a cumulative graph, posh word, and what we can see here is kind of like a distribution of the top, in this case, 1,000 search terms. So we can see, as we saw at the top, that the most popular query is women, followed by fleece, followed by /. That's an interesting one, worth taking a look at. That could potentially be a UX issue where maybe there's something on, say, the home page, or someone set up a redirect weird, but it's definitely worth taking a look because that's quite an unusual query. So that could be an opportunity to improve the UX of whatever page that's been fired on. So you could definitely go away and take a look into that. That's something I'll go and take a look at. So here you can kind of get an idea of what percentage and just how big of a deal the search term for women actually is in comparative to other queries. But what we can basically see here is, if I go all the way to the end, is that 36% of, so the top 1,000 queries basically makes up 30% of all searches, which is a pretty, it's a pretty cool statistic to take away, of which 2% alone is women. So again, I'm just kind of reinforcing here how big women is in terms of the number of searches for this week anyway. Now, this is where my SEO head comes in, because the general rule here is the more specific a query, the more detailed a query, the more likely that query is to convert, and the more specific the search term is what people are looking for. So, this is almost like you've got women, which is a really broad, top level. We haven't really got enough information to understand what they want, right? Especially if you are a brand who sells lots of women's clothing or lots of women's whatever it is that you might sell. It's a problem because it's a query we can't do enough with to be able to understand exactly what that search intent is. But we can start to see here that, the number of searches we have and how many words they contain. Now, here's the bit of the yin-yang effect going on, because as you can see here with this particular site, the vast majority of search queries have just one word in them. Almost 500,000 search queries are just one word. They're vague, they're broad, it's got to return lots and lots of products in most cases. And what we typically find is, as I've kind of alluded to, is that the fewer words you use, the worse the conversion. So my point here is there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of golden opportunity to really enhance and optimize these single word queries to really improve conversion, right? And start to see emergence of improved sales and conversion as a result. And what we can find in some of these cases is that single word queries showing search results might not even be the best experience. It might be better to go to a specific landing page or launch a campaign where people can choose what it is they're looking for. So using women as an example query, rather than showing a load of search results with maybe 500 products and 10 pages, that's a lot of product, and the chances are that the first page of products is going to be quite irrelevant to that particular user. So how about a merchandise page where it's like women's jackets, women's waterproof trousers, women's cycling jackets, women's helmets, that sort of thing. And as a result, as a user, you can then start to jump through departments and really kind of refine that experience and help the customer find what they're looking for. While at the other end of things, where you've got 5 words, 6 words and upwards, 9 words even, people are looking for something really granular. So it could be men's black 32-inch waist waterproof trousers. In that case, the number of results is going to be smaller. It's a very specific query, so the chances are they're going to be able to find and they know exactly what they want. So it's that balancing act of optimizing single word queries as best as possible, and also making sure that these granular queries are equally as optimized as well. So there's some other stuff here, but they're the key takeaways and how I like to find my starting points, if you like, in the world of site search. So let's move across to some of the more juicy granular data and see how I get into some of this cool stuff. So let me just first of all start by sorting this. So again, you can see here that women is the #1 query, and I really want to look into that, but that will be my first port of call is, what's the experience here? Jacket, shirt, walking, hiking, map, cycling. Cycling what? It's too broad. Kid, trousers, shoes, shorts, and so on, and so on, and so on. But what's really interesting here is the clicks, we've got the carts, we've got the checkouts, click rate, and we can see these are all relatively quite healthy. But what we can start to do here is really segment this data in a way that allows us to find queries and keywords and search terms that either return no results, which we'll look at first, or poor results. And these are rife for improving conversion and really boosting your sales almost immediately, to be honest. So first things first, let's take a look at products, at search terms that have no products. So what I'm going to do here in Fact Finder is tell it to give me all of the search queries for this week that returned 0 items whatsoever. So let me just sort this. Yep, there we go. Now, this one is gold. There's actually quite a few really good golden nuggets here. Look, this week alone, we've had 1,000 searches, almost 1,100 searches for the query body warmer. First of all, it's summer. What are you doing? Second of all, this is a brand that sells outdoor jackets and stuff, waterproof jackets, like the jackets you wear to the Arctic Circle if you're so way inclined. My point here is the fact that this query doesn't return any results is one, a problem, and two, a huge opportunity. So the fix here is to create a thesaurus entry or a mapping of queries where body warmer is equal to gilet. So I had a look at this website earlier, and they address them as gilets. They're explained in the copy, in the titles, as gilets. But of course, the search engines are really clever, but there's going to be gaps in different words of explaining different things. So as soon as you put that entry in and allow search engine to understand that body warmer is basically a gilet, then boom, your relevance, you basically start to show relevant products. You then open opportunities for conversion. Customers find what they want sooner. You increase your sales, right? There's 1,000 people a week searching for that and no results are found. Easy fix. Machine wash coat. 3 words, which means it's more likely to convert. It's more descriptive than just coat. So there's obviously a category that they could potentially go away and create and load that with machine washable coats. Detergent, waterproof detergent, these are all really powerful low-hanging fruit queries that someone could fix, and almost within 24 hours you'd be able to start to see the differences in performance. Waterproof detergent, body warmer again, but this time as 2 words. There's clearly, real opportunities here. So that's how I like to go away and identify low-hanging fruit. Now, let's take a look at the less black and white, if you like. So rather than look at queries that return no results, how about we look at queries that return bad results or poor results or results that just aren't good enough and kind of raise a bit of a flag. So here, we need to use the best similarity score. So let's say 1 and 85%. So here we go, where we've got queries that have a similarity score between 1, which is really bad, and 85%, which is okay, average, all right. So anything in between that range is potentially an opportunity to improve the relevance of the results, improve the products, or maybe there's a query that people are searching for and there's products that you don't really have that match the bill. So we've got some weird ones here actually, but we've got some gold as well. For anyone who watches my videos and has ever read my blog posts, Black Friday is a huge thing that I love to moan about and pick out websites that you search for Black Friday on and they go, don't know what you're on about, mate. And it's literally in the middle of Black Friday. Like, send me somewhere, do something. And here could be such an example. And I know it's not Black Friday at the moment. This has been recorded in June. We've got a while to go until we get there. But my point here is, rather than kind of show results, which of course there aren't going to be any results really for Black Friday at the moment, send them to a landing page where they can register for that campaign. Let them know that Black Friday 2021 will be a thing this year, and they can of course sign up. One, you get data. Two, they're happy. And three, you've got potential sales later on down the line. COVID, great query actually. Rather than showing search results, again, send them to your COVID policy. Maybe if you've got extended returns as a result of a lockdown in your particular country, for example, size guide returns. These are all really good examples of queries where users aren't expecting to see results. They're actually expected to be sent somewhere or shown content or having a question answered. And these are really good examples. So they're not necessarily directly attributed towards conversion, but they are definitely attributed towards user experience, and as a result will improve conversion at somewhere down the line. So there we are. We've been chatting away for 20 minutes now, and I still feel like I've got loads to show you, but we'll stop there at dogs. Cool query. Maybe there's codes for dogs, but we'll stop there. And yeah, that's kind of like an insight into how I like to approach search data. And yeah, thank you very much to FactFinder for lending me an incredible account that I can show you exactly how I go about working my magic for site search and clients. So yeah, I will see you next month, and take care.